Hello and welcome to another edition of SAFC Fan TV Extra Time. So, got a quite interesting short night, I think, based on what happened yesterday. But joining us on the podcast tonight, we've got Conrad. Conrad, how are you doing, mate? How was your Monday been?
It's been all right. I was on holiday today, so I wasn't at work. We went out with the little man, took him to his courses and clubs that he does at his age, and then another day off tomorrow before I'm back in. So I haven't even started my week yet. It's been brilliant.
Is there any Newcastle fans where you work?
Yes, my former boss. It was funny, actually. Last week, he sent me a big, long thing that he'd obviously copy and pasted from someone on Twitter about how Sunderland fans are deluded because they think we could beat them in general. And I actually went, it's not that I think we could beat you. I said, it's just the fear in you that we could. And I said, imagine, this is on Thursday, I can get it on my phone if needs be. I went, imagine if we get you in the FA Cup and we do yous over. And then on Saturday, it was like, it's coming true. It's going to yeah, we're going to do it. So now he was a bit like, he only sent back a reply saying like, ha ha. And I was like, you're scared. You're actually scared.
You're scared now. And then also on the short night, we've got Mike. Mike, good evening. How was your Monday been?
All right. I work from home and I'm a web developer, so I'm always on holiday. It's just make sure the computer doesn't lock itself. Job done. That's all I need to do.
You must have the same kind of job as me. So I work from home as well. I just keep moving the mouse a few times so it doesn't.
Yeah, it's difficult when you're napping, but there's ways.
Yes. So if you've been under a rock or in a darkened room for the last 24 hours, if you didn't hear, we've drawn Newcastle in the FA Cup third round. I thought I was in a daydream yesterday when I saw it. But what was your initial thoughts when it came out, Mike? When you...
Well, anybody who watches the channel knows I'm the eternal optimist and predict 5-0 every week. So I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing. I know people are worried to get rid of a streak. And I know it's not a winning streak, but we've still not lost to them in 8-9 games. Something like that.
I'm not sure 10, the actual number. Unbeaten in 10, I think.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's the record we want to continue. But yeah, to quote some random manager that nobody knows, I'd love it if we beat them. I'd love it.
Oh dear me, love it. Conrad, did you watch it live or did you?
No. So funnily enough, I said to the missus just before we set off, the FA Cup draws at 1. And normally I've made an effort to sort of go on, I'll stick it on, see what happens. But then you end up seeing like Sunderland versus like Maidenhead. You're like, right, great, I've wasted my time. So I didn't bother. I thought I'll just see it later on. It'd be Gillingham or someone, it won't matter. And then all of a sudden my phone just started going mental. And it was our group, it was other groups I was in. I thought, we must have got like Liverpool or Man City at home or Arsenal, just someone that's like a big team that we've got back at home, and it'll feel like an old-fashioned Premier League game. And then I quickly went on Sky, and it was just Sunderland versus Newcastle, and I remember just being like, "What?" I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, and then there was that sort of fear of, "Oh my god, they're going to batter us," and then there was that fear of, "What happens if they don't? What happens if they actually don't?" Like. Because
we are in a much better position than their fans.
Well, that's it. To be fair, the pressure's all on them. We've got now to lose. We expect.
A friend of mine, he supports Newcastle, and he just went, "This is a lose-lose game for us. I'd rather never play you again." He goes, "If you win, it's like the end of everything for like forever until we eventually start beating you again." He goes, "And if we win and don't win by at least 5 or 6, it's embarrassing." It's like,
that's exactly right.
And I know Jack Shields in our one was a bit like, I can't watch it if they beat us. And I'm sitting there going, I've sat through the 5-1.
Yeah.
I've sat through the 4-1. I don't want it to happen again. Absolutely not. But I'm sitting there going, I got over it. And we then went on a 10-game unbeaten streak. I would rather keep winning against them than have a day where we absolutely smash them. Like, you just keep eking out 1-0 20 years in a row. It'd be fantastic for me.
I mean, the thing is, if you look at previous history in the FA Cup, I think they've went out in the third round in the last 2 rounds. They got beat off Sheffield Wednesday and Cambridge. So,
do you know what the interesting part of that is? 2 years ago, third round to a League 2 team. Last year, third round League One team. This year, third round Championship team. And then when we get promoted next year, we'll do them again in the FA Cup.
But if we could pull it off, they'd all have to go into hiding, wouldn't they? It's like
what do they do? Because I mean, do they play like it's a derby and put a strong team out? Because they've got Liverpool before us and City after us.
And
that's two massive games for them.
They've got another FA Cup. They've got another Champions League game coming up. I'm sure they're still in the Carabao, which might be somewhere sandwiched in December as well. Potentially then with a semi-final double header coming up in January as well. So you're sitting there going, you're fighting, as daft as it sounds, fighting on all four fronts. Mm-hmm. Are you really, like, Eddie Howard usually take this, you'd imagine, as a time to sort of rest the team. But his fans aren't going to let him rest the team because they want to beat us. So it's that thing of his hands are tied. He has to go for it, really. And I know he will. He's a smart man, Eddie Howe, and he's my choice for the next England boss, despite being Newcastle manager, just because of the way he plays and the way he sort of gets his team set up. But it's like you say, it just feels like, is this the perfect storm, of everything that was going to align for us? And it probably won't. But it might. It might.
As long as we give them a game and we're going to get battered, I'll be happy. That's all.
If it was the Fulham last year, if say we got 1-1 at our place and we went to their place and we narrowly lost, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, it's the end of everything. Oh, Mowbray out and this, that, and the other. I'm sitting there going, you spent 300 million. We probably haven't spent 300 pence in the last 3 years of our owners, and you only just got past us. Well done, you.
Tony Mowbray might not even be in charge come January the 6th.
There's that as well.
Start of January, sign Diallo. Ask Lee Cattermole to come back for one game.
Yeah.
Job done.
Didn't I say in the group, I went sack Mowbray 2 games before the derby, get a new manager in, loses his first game and beats the Mags. That's the general rule of being a Sunderland manager. But yeah, it was like Diallo joins on the 1st, comes off the bench on the 6th and handballs in a winner on the 93rd minute at the Stadium of Light.
Or you can see none of our strikers score until then. Then Mienda last minute bullet header, or Emiya bullet header.
All 4-0. Just get them all on. They all break their goal in that game.
We're going to win. The police are going to have to hide the horses. And that's going to be the end of it.
Yes. I did like all the jokes, though. It was about Nissan's HR waking up the next day to see 25,000 holiday requests for the 6th and 7th of January. It was just, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Have we got a kickoff time yet, or is it still TBC?
Well, yeah, I'm guessing it'll be 12 o'clock. The place will.
I keep seeing 7:45.
I've seen that twice.
It can be.
I can't
be.
There's no way the police allow that.
It'd be amazing if it was, but it can't be. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you thought this the same. So when we played other derby games, apart from when we won, of course. So I'm thinking the last time they won at our place 1-0, or when it was 1-1 and we equalised a couple of minutes from the end, they were midday kickoffs and there's just no atmosphere at them because everyone's just like, oh, what's the point in this? And it sort of feels a bit false. So you sort of go, just make it 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock at the very earliest.
The stadium, it's going to be a sellout. I don't care what time the kickoff is. This is going to be a sellout.
Oh yeah.
Do you think they'll move the away fans or not?
No, they'll leave them up there. They'll leave them up there.
Hard hat then.
Yeah. Do you sit in the north end? Oh dear. You and Terry with your hard hats on.
Hard hats. It depends how many they give them. I suppose. I think
I keep saying 7,000 or 9,000, and but I thought you only had to give them 10% of your ground, but
15% allowed up to 15%. Right, and the police will not allow that.
No, just give them the usual 10% that you have to do, and just be like, there you go. That's literally it.
Crack on.
So, objectively, what do you think our chances are? Not as a fan.
We've got every chance of beating them. We're a upper mid-table sort of team in the Championship that generally play better the better side we're playing, they're usually in our position of like, this team's better than us, so we have to play like this against them. They're not usually the dominating team in a game. And when they have been, that's, to me, from an outsider's perspective, when they struggle to sort of break sides down. I think they obviously do win a lot of games still, but example, Sheffield Wednesday last season, they should have battered them. They had pretty much a first team out and lost 2-0.
Considering the gap in where we're playing and the money involved, the actual odds, like betting odds, we're only at 4-1.
Oh, we'll be at home. We're strong.
Yeah.
I mean, if we get a championship referee as well, all the better. There's no VAR.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, I didn't think there would be a VAR, would there? Because you can't do it in some games and not in others.
So,
if it had been at their ground, would there have been VAR?
I think so.
They do this dodgy thing where the Premier League grounds can hold VAR, but the other ones can't. It's like, well, that's not fair. Then that someone in League Two could go out because they don't do a VAR check, but someone in the Premier League would get it.
It's shocking. I mean, see, on a one-off game, how can happen? And there's no reason why we couldn't do it. I really didn't.
No, there's absolutely not. And yes, we're the underdogs, as most of my lifetime in games against Newcastle, we have been. Even when we were both bottom end of the Premiership, I still always thought of us as the underdogs to them, even if we were slightly higher up in the league, or I thought our team was better on paper. I still thought, we're the underdogs in this game here. They're still better than us.
Yeah,
I mean, I've had some mags commenting on my channel. I did a video, and even some of them are saying they're on a hiding out. Really, that like I said, the pressure's all on them to get a result and to get a big result because of where they are.
It feels. Do you remember the Checker Trade run with Jack Ross, who played their under-21s?
Yeah,
and it's not quite the same scale, of course, but that feels a bit of like we're on a hide into nothing, because we're either going to get beat by their under-21s or we were going to beat them, and so we should. We're an actual team, and they're like a bunch of kids. And we won 4-0 in the end, but it took us till the second half to score all four. And it was still a bit like you didn't feel good at the end of it. You're just like, right, we went nothing. Like, absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of it.
I just think for us, I think maybe we should just keep Luke 9 out the side. That's the only thing for me, is because just need to keep 11 players on the pitch.
He is a liability, but he's also one of those players that's got passion for the club that you want on the pitch in a derby. It's like having Catamol. You think he's probably going to get sent off during this game, but you wouldn't want him not on the game in the game. So that's a difficult one. He just needs to, if he's going to go off, do it for a crunching tackle, not for a silly pull down in the box.
Could we get Chris Maguire back for one game?
The ultimate
just complete shithouse the game entirely. Just start winding up all their managers and staff on the touchline and stuff. Another thing we haven't mentioned is how many injuries they've got. And then was it announced today that Nick Pope's now out for 5 months? Yeah,
that's it. I mean,
if they like to do this joke the other way, but if he was a keeper with shorter arms, maybe he wouldn't have hurt his arm so badly.
Correct.
The gangly freak.
So they might have the option to play a strong side. I mean, what would top it off even better is if we played a weakened team and then beat them. That would be even better.
Yeah. I did see, and I still think this is the best comment about the whole thing on Twitter, which was the top 5 dribblers on the day at the ground will be Patrick Roberts, Jack Clark, Anthony Gordon, Almiron, and Adam Pearson. It's true.
Oh dear me.
He needs to get the team right currently.
Yes.
Before we get there.
Well,
there can't be a striker on the pitch that still hasn't scored for a game like that. He needs to get that right in the next few games to give us a fighting chance.
I still think he'll go back to doing the no strikers thing.
I was just about to say that. I think that's the way I think he'd play.
And lock it in and sort of put Bellingham as like the furthest one forward. Or if he had to play one, I think he'd play Bairstow. Just because... I don't know if I put this in the group the other day, but I never thought say this at the end of last season. Weirdly, we should go for Geldhart because he didn't score for us, so he'd fit in perfectly with all our strikers. But our team still scored a shit ton of goals when he did play for us, and he was a proper soldier up front for us and bullied defenders and just caused an issue. Whereas they're not even doing that, and he's not getting a game at Leeds. So you're sitting there going, I know we're not going to do it because we don't need 5 strikers, but
that's what you want Mayenda to do because he's got that strength. That's what you want Mayenda to do.
I'd probably send Burstow back to Chelsea in January.
Do you reckon?
I would. To me, he just doesn't offer us an out. He just doesn't offer an out at all. And I mean, Saturday, the subs on Saturday, when we took Burstow off and went back to that no striker bit for the last for 15, 20 minutes, we suddenly started playing again.
It's the what was it? We've had this for years where when we bring a lone striker in and they do nout, and then they'll go on to better things. So you've got like Keziah Sterling when we had him, and that Semedo, who's now a Bournemouth starter, and I'm trying to think of the other ones, but I'm sure we've had people that have gone in on loan and were like, who is this? He's going to be absolutely shocking. Doesn't do anything for us, and then goes on to do all right for somebody. Apart from Diallo, who was amazing.
Apart from my eye. I don't know, it's a strange one. It's a strange one.
We like stats sometimes. We've not lost to them in a cup since 1909.
Yeah.
In a cup
and we've won 2 cups since then. Yeah,
we've not lost them in a cup games. There's a few draws, but
we beat them in 1957. We beat them in the cup quarter final, I think, down there. Then we beat them in the League Cup on penalties in 79.
Yeah.
Beat them in the playoffs in 1990.
Well, that was going to be my standout game. Would have been against the Mags. Would have been the 1990 playoff semi-final. It was just unreal. I mean,
2-0 at their place, wasn't it?
It was now changed at our place where Paul Hardyman missed a penalty.
That's where he followed up and nearly kicked his head off.
Kicked him in the head afterwards. Then when Gabbiadini got the second one, they had just had a pitch invasion and tried to get the game abandoned. They jumped on the pitch and they were jumping on the bar, and there was just absolutely hell on. But that was probably one of my standout moments. That of the Derby games was class.
I watched like a reel of that not so long ago because I never actually watched that game, but they were like in Norwich colours as well, weren't they? It was their away strip looked like Norwich. Yeah. Because I was watching the game and I was thinking, is that Newcastle? I couldn't tell.
Were we in blue as well that game?
The way was the blue strip, aye.
Yeah. I think the standout one for me, well, the first one I remember being several years younger than both of you. First one I remember was the 2-1 in that downpour at St James's Park where they kicked the ball and it wouldn't move further than this. It was just getting caught on the ball. I think Kieran Dyer scored for them 1-0, and then Quinn got like a flick header, and then Phillips lobbed the keeper after it because someone 2-footed Shearer who stood on the ball because it didn't move, swung the cross straight in, and Phillips dinked it over him. I was watching it at the Stadium of Light on a beanbag.
Yes,
When we did that one, and then the next year we did the beanbag again, and
that
Gary Speed, Speed scored after like 2-3 minutes, and then what was it? Hutchison equalised, Quinn's header, and then Quinn giving away a penalty and for Tommy to save it. Those are the two I remember.
Which was that the one when Ruud Gullit dropped Shearer? Was that the first?
That's the first one. The first one is when Ruud Gullit dropped Shearer and Ferguson and played Sunderland fan Paul. Yeah, he did. Yeah, and played Sunderland fan. I think Paul Robinson up front.
That was 96. Was it 96, 97?
No, that was 2000.
99 and 2000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the year afterwards, Bobby Robson was in charge of Newcastle then, but we still won.
What's your best moment, Mike? What's one of your standout games?
Well, I'm much younger than both of you. No, I'm not.
Really? I don't know how maths works in Burnley.
To be honest, it was the 3-0 in 2013 because I think it was 2 draws before that, and that for me was the start of that winning streak.
That Canio one.
Yeah, and I love the passion. That was the sliding knees, and that for years, even before that, I said that's what we need is a manager with passion, that kind of passion, and that. After that, I thought we were untouchable. After that, that game really set a precedent for me. Obviously, we were.
It did feel with Di Canio always though fake passion. I don't know why, because he did that for every club that he went to. Do you know? You are right. It's exactly what we needed at that moment. Somebody who was just like, I'm going to have this. This is my arena. And
I liked Coleman as a manager for the same reason. I think he had genuine passion. I think he genuinely did love the club. But that 3-0 victory, it was an absolutely great game, it was the start.
What about the year after? Was it the year after when Adam Johnson scored in the last minute? Was it the year after?
No, that wasn't that one. No, so it was. I've got this right. So it was 3-0 that one.
Yeah.
Then it was 2-1 Gus Poyet at Stadium of Light.
Yes.
3-0 at their place in the yellow kit. What was it? Barini, Johnson, and Colback shushing his own fans. Yeah. Then it was the 1-0 at their place the season afterwards. It was just before Christmas. It was like the Johnson one. And then it was, I think he got sacked. An Advocat came in and we won 1-0. Defoe's volley.
Defoe's volley.
And then he got sacked and Sam Allardyce won 3-0 and then drew 1-1 at their place. And they went down. And then we went down again and again.
Some classics amongst them.
We all have the same bad memory. I'm just going to say it. Just for interest of fans, we all have the same bad one stuck in the mind of Kevin Nolan chicken dancing.
Oh, that.
The worst one I had, I don't think, that's awful. But the 4-1 in the season, where we got relegated. We were already relegated at that point, thank God. But Justin Hoyt, half-time, 1-0 Sunderland, and then just how I think they scored 3 goals in like 6 minutes, and it was just, it was Shearer's last game, then Arca fell on him, and he was injured, and that was it. And then his last goal, and then Albert Luque, who didn't even score goals for Newcastle, somehow went through the entire team and dinked it past Kelvin Davis, who you'll hear from me about later.
And me, funnily enough.
You're one strong, Wayne.
I want a result. I was looking through the history of this before because I knew we were going to be doing this show. And I don't know if Wayne remembers, but I don't remember 1908, the 9-1.
Just
he just left school.
I was 21 at the time.
Apparently Newcastle were down to 9 men, but still no excuse. It was the largest victory ever in that derby. So if we could top that, I'd be happy for the rest of the season. For a while.
I didn't know if it's obviously it's been 7 years since the last one, but like I say, on the video I done yesterday, I've had quite a few mags come on the comments and actually been quite nice. I wouldn't know if that's the odd mag that was quite nice, but seems
it's never gonna be like it was like when they had the season ban between the teams. I think even like in the early 2000s, and there's a few derbies I couldn't get to. There was a club near me. I lived in Ferry Hill, and half the club was Newcastle and half was Sunderland. And even then, it was just banter. It's got a lot more friendly. With all football, it's a minority of people, isn't it? So
there's a bit of shame in saying this as well because we haven't been anywhere near them for so long. There was a bit of me going, fair play to them. Fuck up the top 6 in the Premier League, just disturb the establishment because I hate the way that the big teams with the money have their sort of stranglehold over it. And I was like, anyone. And then as we've been getting gradually closer and closer back up, that hatred has been like creeping back in of like stuff that they do. And I'm just like, normally I'm like, so when they beat Arsenal the other week, I was a bit like, sod you, Arsenal. That's have that. But then it was like, when they were beating Chelsea last year, and I was like, oh, all right, well done. And then I went, what do you mean they're 3 points off top in December? Like, fuck off. You can't be that good. Like, no, none of that. So, and then all of a sudden, like we said the other day, when the draw got made, that hatred just suddenly just went, woof. And I was just like, scum, hate them, can't stand them.
I was in a United pub the other day when they played against United. But even then, they eked like a 1-0 win and nothing major for the amount of money in there. There's nothing majorly impressive as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be one of those games. If we get an early goal, we could easily win it. But I don't think we could hold out like 0-0 for 90 minutes there. We can't defend in a game like that.
We have to go to win. We can't just play and hope we frustrate them and steal one. We have to play like we were going to win or trying to win that game. And I think their fullbacks are arguably their strongest point in terms of Trippier and Tino, Livramento. So their strongest point in defence matches up against our strongest points of attack, really. So it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, Shah's not a pushover, a centre-back, and so we're seeing neither is Lascelles because Botman... I sound like I know a lot of their players, but I have that many Newcastle fans who still want me to go to the pub and watch their games that I've just sort of picked up what they're talking about. But
we might take Mankio at right back instead if they're going to play.
No, he's injured. Because he's injured because that was the funniest thing. They listed all their players that were injured on this graphic, and he was at the bottom. And I went, God, you really are scraping the barrel if you count him as like if you're going, God, look how bad we are. Javier Mankio's injured. Really, God, your life's hard for you, isn't it? I wish he was injured for the 38 games he played for us.
There's a sideline worry for me. We beat them. We beat them substantially. Jack Clark gets a hat-trick, and all of a sudden, we're in the middle of January. Jack Clark looks like a wonder kid, even more so, and we're going to be fighting off the bidders.
And he gets a Newcastle put a bid in for him.
That's a callback.
Well, at least with Colback, it wouldn't be for just because he was actually one of them. It would just be a money thing and a sort of... He doesn't have to move house. That's what it would probably be. I don't have to move house, and like I've got a potential European football, but no, you don't forgive anyone that makes that journey.
No, not at all. Bracewell, play for us, went there, then came back, didn't he?
Yeah.
Barry Venison.
You tend to forgive the ones who have a gap in between, and so like. I still maintain that Titus Bramble for us was all right for the 2 years that he played for us. But he left Newcastle like years before he even sort of came near to us. I'm trying to think of anyone. Well, Shea Given won his only medal with us back then. Who else? Steve Harper. That one always felt wrong when he was number 3 keeper. That always felt a bit like, why are you here? Like,
yeah. Did Lionel Press sign for them all? Did Lionel Press sign for the Mags and all?
Didn't he play for them before us?
I'm not sure. He was at Villa before us, wasn't he? Was it
Lionel Press? I'm sure he signed there afterwards, didn't he?
Let's have a look. Lionel
Press. Louis Saha.
It was
massive gap in between. Like I think it was a good 10 years between them as well.
He was 65.
Lee Clark,
Andy Cole.
Andy Cole.
You're right.
I forgot we even had him.
After us, Lionel Prez went to Newcastle and played 3 years and never played a game.
I thought it was after.
David Kelly. There's some ones in there.
David Kelly, did he play for both of us? Didn't he?
Before my time.
Sure, he scored loads of goals for them when they got in the championship. Then he signed for us a few years later and was absolutely dog shit.
It's usually the way they go.
Normally the case, isn't it?
Van Arnold.
He didn't play for Newcastle, did he?
Yedlin.
Yeah. Yedlin was always a weird one because I really wanted us to keep him the year that he had with Sam Allardyce and thought he's a really good attacking fullback. And then obviously Moyes didn't think so and thought Donald Love was better. And Yedlin then dropped down to Newcastle in the Championship and it always felt like, but you were doing fine in the Premier League for us. Why have you done that? But then he came up and he did all right with them as well, I think. So
just checked. Van Arnold was at Newcastle. He was on loan there in 2010.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Was it from Chelsea?
Right, okay. Yeah, 7 games.
So that's before he signed for us, though.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
I'm just thinking of some more standout moments. One of my standout moments of the games has to be Stephen Taylor nutting the post when Stephen Fletcher.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What picture, class? You just see his face planting the post.
It's like almost like Stephen Taylor shoving him into the post as well. I think the one that always leaves a sour taste for me. Do you remember so it's a loss, but do you remember the year Roy Keane was manager and first year in the Premier League with him? They made the police made us go to the ground like 4 hours beforehand to be like, just for safety reasons. So we were sat around for ages waiting to sort of like come in, and like obviously things got a bit bored and it just felt like we never quite got going in that game. And then I remember, because they made a big deal out of it the next season when Sabrasia was manager, to be like, the police like, oh, can you come again like 4 hours before? And we said, no, we'll turn up like an hour before the game and that's it. You just have to deal with it, because it really sort of impacted our sort of momentum.
Well, it is. It's like if somebody asked you for to get into work 4 hours early, you'd be like, well,
yeah, just to sit there and do now. It's like, why? Sessegnon's red card, I always thought that was hilarious. It was a draw, I think, the game, but it's because he'd been on international leave, and me and my mates were sort of joking that, because remember, he wasn't going to make it back. They were like, his flight's stuck, he's delayed, he's da-da-da. And he got back, I think, the morning of the game and literally went straight into the team. Was on a yellow card for the longest point, and we just kept joking that they were winding up by just going, how's the flight, mate? Like all game. Because at the end, he punched Tiote in the face, and you're a bit like, you can just imagine them just winding him up, going, did you have to fly economy? Like, just all this sort of... Chappell being sent off after the full-time whistle as well. I don't know which game that one was, but I think it might have been the same one. As Sessegnon, we lost them both, maybe, but... the one that stands out is got to be Defoe for the volley, because I was sat south stand, not quite behind it. I was sort of sat that way on it, but even when it came over, you just thought, he's hit that too high. There's no way it's going to sort of dip in. And the fact that it didn't like clip the bar on the way in, you didn't know it had gone in until you saw the net actually move back with the ball's trajectory coming down, and the place just went absolutely mad. Like. And my mate who I was with had gone to get a beer and missed the goal. Missed arguably the greatest goal of like a derby you'll ever see. Like, just, yeah. Do you remember that year we scored 2 worldies? Liam Lawrence and Stephen Elliott both scored absolute worldies at St. James's Park. Like, proper like 25-yard screamers, each one of them. It was like, where the fuck have you been all season?
Well, there was the free kick. KEYRINGS, the free kick at home, that rocket, and then he took the back of the net off. Yeah,
that was the first time we'd beaten them at home in like 20
years. That was the first time,
years or something. Yeah, Danny Higginbotham's goal the year before for the 1-1. I don't know why that's just jumps to my mind, because if you watch the game, you'll see Jones chasing their defender back, and we never should have had a corner, but he forced one of them to just hoof it out of play. He then sprinted and took the corner himself. And it's like, no, you need to be in the box, mate. And you see Higginbotham, who's literally like in his own half, just going, I'll get there. And didn't break stride, just to sort of nod it past the keeper. And it was just like, what have we done? Like, this is the easiest goal we've ever scored. Like, and they celebrated in my corner. I was only in like the 5th row. So it just felt like even better when they come to your side of the ground.
Class. What was your standout goal, Mike? What's your best goal you've ever seen in the derby?
It was unfortunately Adam Johnson's in the 3-0 one we mentioned before.
Just going to get it in early. Shame he's a nonce before anyone starts doing anything. Shame he's a nonce. Right, move on.
On the pitch, Adam Johnson. Off the pitch, no, nothing to do with him. But yeah, it was an absolute screamer. I mean, it was.
Which one's this?
Was it when we won 3-0?
He scored. He scored 4 times. No, didn't he get 4? Because he got one in the Di Canio 3-0. He got he didn't get one in the 2-1. He got a tap in the 3-0 for Poyet. He scored the winner,
the last minute,
1-0. Yeah, and he scored a penalty for Sam Allardyce's one.
No, I'm sure it was the Di Canio one. I'm sure.
Yeah, the curler. Then it was.
Yeah, because it was an absolute screamer. So, but I liked.
You're picking that over David Vaughan's screamer in that game. The one that started off outside of the post and then.
Listen, before his shenanigans, I liked him as a player. But I liked I like Jan when we had him, and we didn't win, but he got the equaliser, the last minute equaliser in the 1-1. But I
hit him and
loved
went
him.
in.
Yeah, but I loved him as a player.
I'll have to send you a picture, but it's going back to the game you were on about there with the Adam Johnson goal, the 3-0. I'd stayed at the girlfriend at the time, wife now. I stayed at her house and was like, shit, I need to get back for the derby. I've only got I ain't got some other socks, I ain't got some this, I ain't got some. So she gave me these stupid, and I do mean stupid, they are pink and white fluffy leg warmers. She got thinking she was taking the piss, right? That I had to wear to get in the car to go out, and I was like, oh man, they're like sort of like sock height, do you know what I mean? And I was like so I went home. Yeah, a bit. They're not dissimilar, and I'll send you a picture. But obviously, I got home just in time for the game, so I just kept them on, and we won 3-0. So then I thought, oh well, the next time we play them, I'll wear them just for. She was like, you won't wear them in the stadium like for a laugh, and I was like, I will. And we won again. So then it became a thing, and now it's a bit like I still have them. I'm a bit like, I'm going to have to wear them again.
Better wear them.
Oh, I know. I'm going to have them on at the stadium, like, just to be like, if we win again, I'll just be like, these are the ones.
These are the little socks, dear me.
All right.
So,
I mean, wrapping up, Wayne, what was yours then? Moments and goals.
Well, I see my moment would be
Gabbiadini.
It's Gabbiadini getting the winner, the pitch invasion, just all them, all the mags just trying to get the game stopped on the banner. There was absolutely hell on. So that's probably my standout moment. Goal would have to be Defoe. Defoe's volley was absolutely unbelievable. At the time, we were looking like getting relegated when we were fighting for our lives again. I think we were going to get battered, and that just ignited our season, didn't it? It was like unreal.
Yeah, the goal and the tears from him because he cried when he scored it, hadn't he? Yeah.
Yours, Conrad?
I think what was it? I think I've done them, but it's got to be Defoe. Defoe's goal just for the sheer moment of it. But David Vaughan's, even though it wasn't in the stadium, is arguably up there just because it was one of them that Sessegnon scored first, and I was like, yes, relax. We haven't beaten them in however long. Calm down. Johnson scored 2-0, 70 minutes, and I was like, yes, relax. It's Sunderland. This is easily still a 3-2 Newcastle game. Calm down. And then David Vaughan scored his one in like the 85th minute, and I was around the living room just like, it's over. It's done. There's no chance now. Because it was almost like the emotion of it all came out in that, like, you're not getting it now. Like, this is ours. I mean,
you can't enjoy the games, can you? You didn't enjoy them. It's just, if you win this afterwards, you enjoy them. But
yeah.
Mike, what's your standout goal and standout moment?
Well, I think I've said the goal. I think it's like I say. I think it's because I was there, but the Di Canio slide and that whole game.
You were at the ground.
Yeah.
What a game to be at.
But I mean, that was superb. I'm sure I might be wrong, but I'm sure the same season we played Everton not long after and lost like 5.
No, we played Everton. We played Everton and won. We lost to Villa 6-1.
Yeah.
Same season.
I can't remember which game it was, but I went to the game. We lost like 6-1, and we were still singing about winning at Newcastle. And it's like, and their crowd was silent, and they were winning. It was just surreal. But yeah, that because I was at that game, that's got to be my standout moment. When you're there in person, it's a different experience, completely.
I've never been to St. James's in the away end. I kind of always want to, but I also kind of don't at the same time. I don't want to go into your stadium, but sort of like, I think it's also a thing of like, oh my God, I'm in enemy territory and they know exactly where I am.
It's intimidating. So anybody watching or listening, in the comments, stick what your best goal is and best moment is of a derby you've seen. There's a little challenge for you. Anyway, before we go, and we'll have some more videos closer to the time and podcasts closer to the time, but at this moment in time, give us a score prediction, Conrad.
I have to go first as well. 1-0 Sunderland.
Oh, that would be painful.
We just eke it past. And just to make it even better, it'll be like them battering us for 90 minutes. But Patterson is on absolute fire. 09's handballing them off the line, and VAR isn't seeing anything. Like they're denied penalty after penalty, and then we clear the ball from a corner, not dissimilar to Adam Johnson's winner, that 1-0.
Yeah.
Their defender, their multi-million-pound defender, slips over doing his hamstring, and like Hemia runs through on goal. And we're all sitting there going, he's never going to score. We've seen this before. And he rounds Dubravka and just slots it in. And you just, like, 93rd minute, and the stadium just goes absolutely insane. A bit like a mixture of Adam Johnson's moment where we counter the corner, added in with Zidane 1,
Man City.
Rounds the keeper in the last second and just slots it in. You just know there's no time left, and you see like Bruno Guimaraes crying on the pitch or something like that. It'd be amazing.
That's just the stuff.
Yeah.
Mike, go on.
You know what I'm like. So
5-0.
Bradley Dack with the winner.
Bradley Dack 5-0.
As long as Dack's not on the pitch, it's going to be 3-1 to Sunderland, and it's going to play out as a 3-0 first half. And by the time Newcastle are bringing on first team players, because they have rested quite a few, it's too late. Backs are against the wall. They get one back, but it's not enough, and we scrape the win.
Oh, dear me. That is a bold prediction. Well, I do believe that has to be settled on the day, correct?
No, I think there's replays.
Is there replays in the third round, is there?
Oh, now you've got on. Good check.
We don't want to replay. We don't want to replay.
But I also don't want penalties at home.
Well, that's going to be my... If it's going to be decided on the day, that's going to be my choice.
Penalties.
Yeah.
0-0 and penalties, or a score and penalties.
FA Cup third and fourth round replays and expected to be scrapped, but that was a while ago. Are they in this one? I don't really know. They seem like they're talking about it, but I don't know if they actually are. Is there a year? No. No, it's they're talking about it from 2024, so it's got to be next season they're scrapped.
Yeah, in rounds up to and including the fourth round proper, results are in a draw or a replay.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't know what the replay.
Penalties at their place.
Imagine.
There's police coming for somebody.
Yeah, it's me. It's mine. They're thinking that prediction was shocking. They've come to arrest me and take me to a loony bin.
I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 win. Just to sneak it, I'm going to go them to score first, and I'm going to go us to score 2 late second half goals, both from Emir. They are brave, very brave.
But, so if Emmy is sold on the 1st of January, yours is
mine's gone as well at that point.
Ahmad, that's just tempting fate and just wishing.
Imagine they literally do like 1 minute past midnight. Happy New Year, Ahmad side, and you're like, oh my god, could happen.
That is just the stuff dreams are made of. Anyway, so like I say, get your comments in the comments or whatever you want to put them on if you're on the podcast as well. Best moment, best goal, and score prediction. What you think the score will be against the Mags on the 6th of January? Can we actually do it? Of
course we can. Come on.
Well, on that note, this can see you goodbye. It's Conrad.
See you later, everyone, and thanks for listening and watching wherever you are.
Short and sweet, just later. And Mike?
Yep, thanks for listening and watching, and can't wait to see your predictions and comments below.
Yes, it should be interesting to say the least. But until the next one, we'll see you later. Ta-ra.